All right, good morning. So I thought I would continue enjoying some of the original published versions of the games. I'm going to play the 1983 Grey Cup Canadian Football Championship using Rodney's ratings. The 1983 Grey Cup BC Lions, Toronto Argonauts. I have the player finders here from Rodney's Parallax Football Canadian teams. The 1983 BC Lions and Toronto Argonauts. So we're going to play the very first published game, Time Sports, 5 Sports, 1 Book. This version of the games actually had a Canadian scoring chart, which, all it really did was add a chance at 1 point rouge, right? So, all right, so BC Lions have an B offense versus Toronto's A. So BAD. So BC is going to be a D, and Toronto is a B versus a D. So they're both going to be on the D charts, which means there is a chance. No, there are no rouge opportunities on this particular chart. This is going to be a feast or famine football game. I don't know what the real game was like. Also, because I'm playing Canadian ball, it does not say this in the rules. The game is set to 16 possessions. But for Canadian football, I would go with 18 or 20 because it was a higher scoring. So we're going with 20 possessions. Toronto, the rules still hold. Toronto gets the ball first, and therefore they'll get the ball last as the home field advantage in the Grey Cup here. All right, we're going to use red and white. Again, the Canadian League colors. Red and white. Red will be the scoring chart, and white will be for the potential score. And then, of course, I'll roll a third die to find out which player. All right, so here we go. Toronto gets the kickoff. They go to work on the D charts, and it's going to be 54. So 5 is 3 points. So they're going to get a field goal from the man, Ilsic. Field goal. So Toronto up in the Grey Cup, 3-0. BC goes to work using the same charts, D charts. 3 is going to be a punt. So they're going to have to punt down 3-0. Toronto gets the ball back. And Toronto goes to work. 6 is going to be a touchdown. 6. Touchdown 6 is going to be even. It's a pass TD to number 3 for Toronto. Pass TD for 3 is Emmanuel Tolbert. So it's going to be Holloway. Pass TD to Tolbert. PAT. Folks, it's 10-3. BC goes to work, and they're going to get another punt. BC Lions struggling. And Toronto is going to get a turnover on downs. They get down close, and on third down, go for it. And they get popped and stopped. And folks, BC 0 first quarter, Toronto 10. BC with the ball to start the second quarter. It's going to be 5 for them. It's going to be a field goal for their man. And their man is Pasaglia. Field goal. They've cut it to a 7-point game. And Toronto goes to work. They're going to have to punt. BC with a chance to tie the game, baby. Come on, BC. Yes, touchdown, BC. It's a run for 1. That's going to be John Henry White, JHJ, with a run TD, PAT. Folks, BC in the second have tied the game with a Pasaglia field goal and a John Henry White touchdown run. Holy cow, Toronto goes to work. Toronto, though, is going to get back into the lead here with an Ilsic field goal. And BC with the ball last. Going into the tunnel at the halftime break. BC is going to get a field goal back, keeping the game tied. Pasaglia with a field goal. Folks, 13 points for the BC Lions at halftime. Toronto with 13. It's a tie ball game going into the third. BC will get the ball coming out of the tunnel. After a halftime pep talk, let's see what they do. They are going to turn over on down, so they drive it down close and go for it. Do not get it on 3rd and 3 or something like that. Toronto goes to work. They're going to punt. It's getting dicey here. Midway through the third. It's going to be a punt for BC. Toronto takes over. In the third, it's going to be a punt. Oh my God, defenses adjustments after halftime. BC's final possession of the third is a turnover on down. So BC twice goes for it on third down in the third and doesn't convert. Folks, fourth quarter, nobody scores in the third. It's 13-13 in the Grey Cup of 1983, the year my Raiders were world champs against the Washington Redskins. What a great year for football. Toronto starts here in the fourth. They also get the ball last, so BC's only got 2 opportunities to find a way. Toronto's got 3. Can Toronto get it done? Nope. Toronto will turn over on down. So again, teams going for it on third downs. BC's going to score a touchdown. It's going to be a run again for 4. This time it's the quarterback DeWalt. No, wait, wrong. Yeah, that's right. BC. DeWalt with a run TD. Holy cow, he holds on to it. Keeps the ball, skirts through the end, dives into the end zone, and BC fans all over the nation jump to their feet as DeWalt has given his team the lead with midway through the fourth quarter. Toronto gets a field goal from Elsick. Field goal. I may not be saying that exactly right, but there it is. BC's final possession of the game. They need to add to their score just in case Toronto finds a way late. No, they're going to turn over on down. So again, these must be too far out to take the field goal shot. Here it is, folks. DeWalt has scored a run touchdown. It's the final drive of the game. Toronto in the final 2-minute drive. Can their quarterback, Condridge Holloway, get it done? They do have Terry Green, Tolbert, Pearson, and then out of the backfield they have Minter and Barnes and Bronk. But here we go, folks. They need a touchdown to win. A field goal won't do it. They need a 6. Nope, it's going to end up being end of game punt. Of course, they probably would have punted thinking they might get it back. It doesn't happen. Holy cow. DeWalt with 7. Elsick with 3. I don't know who won this game in real life. 20-16. Still low scoring, despite 20 possession a game. I think this actually tells us who won. Toronto won the Gold Cup, and BC lost. It doesn't give the score. Toronto was 12-4. The BC Lions were 11-5, so this would, I don't know what their playoff records would have been. But BC changes history and has a huge fourth quarter touchdown by their quarterback, DeWalt, on a run. Elsick adds a field goal, but then not enough, even though Toronto had the ball last. Not enough. I'm excited for that because this team featured Swervin, Mervin Fernandez, who joined the Raiders in the late 80s. Swervin Mervin Fernandez, they were calling him the $1 million man. I think Al Davis paid him $1 million to play for the Raiders. His career was okay with the Raiders. He was definitely starting receiver quality, but I can't recall what he really did overall for the Raiders. But Swervin Mervin Fernandez, I'll never forget when we signed him. It was a big deal. I was so excited for my Raiders in the late 80s. Wow. And of course, BC goes on to win it. Not bad. These were, some of these were unique. The hockey game here is certainly unique. This racing time is by far, ironically, this may be the best version of racing time that I've ever published. This is a fantastic version of racing. I'm not certain why I changed. Oh, I changed it to simplify it using grade. So everything was grade based. But I gotta tell you, I really love the numbers because all the drivers are rated in all 4 phases of the race, and the tracks are rated in all 4 phases of the race. This is so much more intricate and creates a lot more dynamism. This racing time version is amazing. The hockey game is great fun. I played a game of this morning. I didn't record it, but wow, hockey. A unique version of hockey. The best version of racing time is probably in this book. Football evolved so much that it's hard for me to say. I think the football game in this version is good, but football time is so much more evolved. And basketball in this is solid version. However, it's not the most unique version of baseball or basketball. But this little book was certainly worthy of publication because I finished boxing shortly after this, and I was working on soccer, that this book ended up short-lived as it became Big Country Time Sports with 8 sports advanced versions. And so the Time Sports books pretty much became obsolete pretty quick because I decided to call them Big Country, and they were all advanced versions of all 8 games. So, but this racing game, I might argue, is my best racing game I've ever made right here. Not certain why I went away from it, except to simplify the process. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.